Yo guys, what's going on? Rob with 421 Media House coming at you again with another deck review. This week I've got the Virtuoso FW17s. This is a pretty popular deck. You know, Virtuoso is kind of the first real cardistry decks to come on the market. And they let you know when we get these decks and they announce the decks are coming out, we always get these super highly produced cardistry videos that always look cool. One thing that's neat about the tuck cases on the Virtuosos, in addition to this neat geometric design that you've got, is if you line 3 tuck cases up, you get the full wraparound, which is kind of something that they've designed on the tuck case to kind of give you a cool display. The tuck case itself is very subtle. It says Virtuoso down the one side, standard front with 4 colors that make up the deck on it, the V, Virtuoso V on the front, the Virtuoso V on the other side, nothing on the back, blank top flap, information about the Virtuoso fall-winter deck on the bottom, including where they're printed by the USPCC. They're distributed by the Virts Playing Card Company in Singapore. And then the very back, we've also got the V on the tuck here. As we open the tuck case up, we get a design for cardistry reveal on the flap. Nothing on the inside of the flap here. Black and green tabs. Let's take these deck cards out and take a look and see what we get inside the tuck case. So, first of all, Virtuoso's done one of my favorite things to do with the ad cards. They've got 4 ad cards here. So there's Virtuoso Fall Winter 2017, The Rise of the Fall, or The Rise of Fall, a little blurb about this deck, a little blurb about the design for cardistry, and then a little experience cardistry at its finest, ad card telling you to go check out the Virts website. Now, if we take these 4 cards, we flip them over, we can put them together, and we actually get a larger version of the back design of the deck. This does replace any jokers that are in the deck, and it also replaces those 2 standard ad cards that we usually see. So that's kind of a neat little addition to the deck. Once we get into the back design here, you're going to notice it's a fairly simple yet elegant geometric design. Very much designed for cardistry. These cards do look pretty cool when they spin, kind of with that design on them. But yeah, the back design is just the 4 colors. It's pretty interesting to see. Nice geometric shapes, hard lines, pretty cool. If we flip the deck over, and we take a look at the fronts, the first thing that you're going to notice about the fronts is that you got the fan pattern on the front, which I think is really cool. It's nice to see that. I wish more cardistry decks would do that, and I think with this particular deck coming out, it was the first deck I had seen that had that fan pattern on the front. I think you're going to start seeing more and more companies kind of copycatting that and adopting it. So let's take a quick look at the faces. These all have a unique face design on them, which is kind of neat. So again, leading ace of spades, which is pretty common. We've seen that on quite a few decks. You'll notice that the placement of the pips in the actual cards, in the indices, are in a slightly different shape than we've seen from a lot of decks, which is kind of neat to see. With the Virtuosos, you get unique royalty, which is always a neat addition to a deck. And again, with all the other suits, you're going to see those unique layouts of the indices on the cards. No Suicide King, always kind of a bummer to see that. I'm just going to run through the rest of these cards quickly. These are the Jack Royal, or the Club's Royalty, and the Diamonds. So that's a little bit about the design of the cards. I think they're pretty unique cards. They're very different. Let's take a quick look and see how they handle. So as far as performance goes, these cards are printed on the Art of Play cardstock, which is something that I think a lot of decks are starting to use. It's a very interesting cardstock. It's very thin, but it's very stiff and gives you a lot of feedback, and a lot of cardists seem to really like that. They are traditionally cut, they're performance coated, and they are embossed. So they do handle quite well from the factory. I've noticed that a lot of Art of Play cards use that same cut and finish. So it's not surprising to see more and more companies adopting that, and I think that Art of Play's really kind of come up with a unique stock with the USPCC, and it feels great, handles really well, and you know, fans great. After I've used these cards for more than a week. I've had them for a while now, but they handle quite well, and let's screwed that one up. They do handle well. And they're good for, I mean, they're designed for cardistry, so they look really cool in flourishes and, you know, whatever not you're gonna be doing with them. As far as the value goes, these cards were $14 US for the deck. So they're not the cheapest cards on the market, but it's a pretty decent price, especially with some of the cards out there. A lot of what we've seen from Art of Play is in and around that $15 to $20 price range, so it's a little bit on the cheaper side for that. But let's break these down quickly. As far as the tuck case goes, it's a very simple matte paper design with those fun geometric shapes on it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. As far as the design of the cards goes, I really dig the back design. They've got all unique faces, unique royalty, and this like pretty neat fan pattern on the front. So as far as the design goes, I'm going to give them a 9 out of 10. As far as performance goes, it's one of my favorite card stocks to use. I really like the way that feels. It feels very similar to that Crushed B stock that I also really like. So as far as performance goes, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The value is a $14 US, so that's going to come in at a 6 out of 10. So overall, these cards are sitting at a 31 out of 40. We've got deck reviews every Thursday, so make sure you subscribe. I do release my podcast onto my YouTube channel as well as Shout Engine every Tuesday, so be sure to check that out too. Last week we had Tyler Sass, who's a professional magician. Really interesting interview, so make sure you check that one out. If you guys like any of the other content that I've got, you know, make sure you check it out, share it with friends, make sure you drop that like, and we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.